When we speak of Tim Burton's 1999 Sleepy Hollow, we must first acknowledge its undeniable macabre beauty. It is a film dripping in atmosphere, quite literally, given the amount of stage blood splashed across the fog-drenched sets. Burton, along with the hauntingly brilliant score of Danny Elfman, crafted a world that looked exactly like a Hammer horror production from the 1960s. And let us speak of the horseman himself, Christopher Walken, complete with filed, demonic teeth, delivered a pre-decapitation performance so intensely feral, it cemented the character as a slasher icon for a new millennium. But is it a good adaptation of the legend?
Are you kidding me, Uncle Vincent? The Tree of the Dead literally bleeds when they chop into it, and he uses a sword that is hot as the devil's breath.
The wound was cauterized in the very instant, as though the blade itself were red hot.
It's easily the coolest version.
No, cool, Jodie, is the enemy of dread. Burton made a fatal structural error. He did not make a ghost story. He made a murder mystery. He transformed Ichabod Crane from a superstitious, cowardly, gangly schoolmaster into a Victorian detective, a handsome Johnny Depp wielding steampunk forensic gadgets. By giving Ichabod the tools of logic and making the horseman assassin controlled by a human master, the film strips away the true terror of the unknown. The horseman becomes nothing more than a supernatural Terminator. You aren't afraid of what lurks in the shadows. You are simply waiting to see whose head will roll next. It is spectacular, yes, but it leaves no psychological scars.
I don't know, man. The Iron Maiden flashback scene messed me up pretty good as a kid.
I will grant you that, Jodie. Burton's flair for childhood trauma remains unparalleled. But if we're seeking the truest, most unsettling Ichabod, we must rewind the clock 2 decades prior. We must venture to the strange, synthesized glow of television. If Tim Burton turned our superstitious schoolmaster into a Victorian Sherlock Holmes, modern television decided to push the blasphemy one step further. They turned him into John Wick. From 2013 to 2017, the Fox network unleashed a serialization that fundamentally misunderstood the assignment. In this iteration, Ichabod Crane is a Revolutionary War soldier who awakens in modern-day New York. He is thrust into a convoluted, apocalyptic soap opera involving secret societies, the Founding Fathers, and automatic weaponry.
Uncle Vincent, you're being a snob. It was basically National Treasure mixed with the X-Files, and the horseman carrying an assault rifle. That was pure chaotic fun.
Oh, fun, dear Jodie, is what one has at a carnival. It is not what one seeks in the shadowed hollows of the human psyche. The fundamental flaw of the Fox series, its erosion of vulnerability. When a ghost story is reduced to a monster of the week procedural, the terror evaporates. If our protagonist can simply parry a spectral axe with a shotgun blast, we are no longer watching a horror story. We are watching an action movie in a Halloween costume. It is loud, it is exhausting, and it is entirely devoid of dread. To find the true reflection of Washington Irving's original 1820 text, we must abandon the blockbuster budgets entirely. We must travel back to 1980 to a made-for-television film broadcast on NBC. Enter Mr. Jeff Goldblum.
The Jurassic Park guy? He played Ichabod
Gary
Crane?
Coleman and Steve Allen host a Halloween classic, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Has anyone in here actually ever seen a ghost?
The local school teacher doesn't believe in ghosts until
It was a Headless Horseman. Did you see him?
a world premiere Halloween, Friday on NBC.
What modern audiences forgot is that the original Ichabod Crane was not a tragic hero, nor a dashing detective. He was deeply weird, opportunist, gluttonous and intensely superstitious oddball. And Goldblum, with his towering, gangly frame and his signature stuttering neurosis, embodied this perfectly.
Away, away into the reaches of the velvet night, noble steed. Carry me to my poor bower where dreams of fair Katrina will for me castles and kingdoms make.
He moves like a nervous praying mantis. This adaptation captured the quaint autumn chill of the Hudson Valley. It embraced the folklore, but chained to a made-for-television budget. It could not deliver the visceral crescendo required for true cinematic nightmare. It was a flawless character study, trapped within a decidedly safe production, which brings us inevitably to the crown jewel.
Featuring Washington Irving's merry tale, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. So invite a hobgoblin into your house, because it's a great night to howl. Next on Walt Disney.
1949, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, a Walt Disney animated production.
Okay, I've been waiting for this. It's narrated by Bing Crosby. It's literally a musical comedy. How is this your gold standard for horror?
Because, Jodie, true horror requires a descent. The brilliance of the Disney adaptation lies entirely in its tonal whiplash. For the first 30 minutes, you are lulled into a false sense of security. It's jovial, it is bright, it is a whimsical romance. But pay attention to the Halloween party. Brom Bones sings a jaunty tune about a headless horseman.
When the spooks have a midnight jamboree, they break it up with fiendish glee. Ghosts are bad, but the one that's cursed is the headless horseman. He's the worst.
But watch the animation. The shadows elongate, the colors sour. We are watching the psychological seed of terror being planted in Ichabod's fragile mind. Then comes the ride home. The music fades away completely in an era where animation was defined by constant cheerful noise. Disney opted for suffocating silence. The sound design in the sequence is a masterclass in subjective paranoia. The chirping crickets begin to sound like they are chanting his name. The croaking frogs begin, Ichabod, Ichabod, Ichabod. Hollow logs look like gaping maws. Tree branches warp into gasping skeletal hands. We are experiencing a panic attack translated into ink and paint. Trembling, the sudden burst of the horseman laughing. And when the horseman finally arrives, he is not a misunderstood spirit. He is not a hitman. He is an unstoppable, laughing force of malice atop a demonic steed with burning red eyes. It is a relentless, terrifying chase that ends with a flaming pumpkin being hurled directly at the lens. But the true horror, the reason this film traumatized an entire generation of children, is the ending. Disney did the unthinkable. They let the monster win.
Wait, he really doesn't survive the cartoon?
The next morning, all that is found is a trampled hat and a shattered jack-o'-lantern. Rumors swirl that he married a wealthy widow one county over, but the animation tells a different story. The darkness claimed him, and that, my friends, is why a singing cartoon remains the most terrifying adaptation in cinematic history. We watch horror not to see the monsters defeated, but to remind ourselves of the dark woods we must all eventually ride through. The Burton film is a visual feast. The Goldblum film is a character triumph. But only Disney dared to show us what happens when we don't make it to the bridge in time. If you crave more unsettling truths hiding in the celluloid of your youth, I suggest you unearth the video on your screen right now. We delve into the animatronic nightmares of the 1980 fantasy cinema. Until then, sleep lightly.